Hello everybody and welcome back to Driversroom Festival of Speed, otherwise known as DRFS. We are here at Circuit de la Sarthe, otherwise known as Le Mans, most famously for the Le Mans 24 hours. Last season DRSL got to race here, and this season it is our turn. Well, let's not wait any longer and go through the grid order of today's exciting 1 hour race. In first place on pole position we have Lionessy. Alongside him we have DJ Rice. Next up in third place is Sir Bodojob. Within fourth place we have the Robbers Dog. His teammate in fifth, RJ Cool. And then in sixth we have MS Too Fast for You. Seventh is occupied by MGR Mercer. And eighth place is for Mr. Sean. Then in last place, in ninth, we have Snips Whispers. Now that is done, let's head back to track and see all the exciting moments of this 1 hour endurance race. It is Lionessy on pole for this 1 hour race, and it is lights off and away we go, and Sir Bodojob gets an amazing start straight from third on the grid into first before they get even turning for turn 1. In the back now, Lionessy recovering from that awful start he had, or maybe it wasn't so bad at all, it was just that Sir Bodojob had such an amazing start. Robert's Dog dropping down a few positions from the start, as he's now battling away with his teammates right in front of him. As there, Snips getting a bit of a wobble at the exit, as they now go onto the big straight, or the first part of the big straight has to be said. Let's see, can they get their braking right with a bit of cold tires and cold brakes? And Sir Bodojob narrowly keeps onto the track, still holds the lead though, and they are now onto the second part of the big straight. All searching for that slipstream. Lionessy having a better setup maybe for the longer straights, a bit longer fifth gear it seemed, but we have to wait to find out if it is actually true. And now the top four. It's very close to each other. Lionessy in front, followed by Sir Bodojob, DJ Rice and MS2 Fast. We're now riding on board, but you can see them how close they are. Lionessy, MS2 Fast having a big lift at the end of the straight. As Sir Bodojob now gets overtaken by DJ Rice. DJ Rice going up the inside. And that's job done for him. Further back, the Robbers Dog has managed to get past RJ Cool. Now RJ Cool is under threat of Mr. Sean. Oh, as RJ Cool goes a bit wide onto the runoff, it is, I think, as MJ Mercer gets two places in one go. Excellent job from him. Just doing a stellar job at gaining a couple of positions in just a short amount of time. Now is Mr. Sean going up the inside of RJ Cool? It seems like it, but RJ Cool holds it around the outside. And Mr. Sean will have to try another time to make it stick. Now coming up to the end of lap number 1. Only the double chicane left to go. Linesi been able to get a bit more clear air behind him. As lap 1 is now completed. A 4 minutes 11.4. Not very often that you will say 4-minute lap time, but yes, it is actually true. Of course, when the cars will be warmed up a bit and the drivers will be more comfortable, those lap times will presumably tumble down. Maybe even below the 4-minute mark, who knows? It will be up to the drivers to make that happen. And so far it has been fairly clean. As I say that, we see that MJ Mercer has gotten himself a half-second penalty for track limits. He also set the purple first sector, but that is obvious to see at the second lap of the race. Now that there's no standing start, the drivers will be much quicker through that first sector. It is the case of putting those other sectors also in some good form. Anyway, Lioness is already done with the first chicane, whilst the back markers are just entering it. And you can see what a space he has created now in that last lap. DJ Rice actually needing to defend from MS2 Fast. MS2 Fast has gone up into 3rd place, ahead of Sir Bottle Job. Ooh, DJ Rice getting onto the curb, almost losing control of his car, just managing to keep it together, but he lost a bit of time there in the process. Showing his blinkers, notifying MS2 Fast that he made a mistake and it's all good now. Maybe even saying sorry that you bumped me. But they will keep on racing. Maybe MS2 Fast will want to work together with DJ Rice to get more clear air behind them, more space between them and Sir Bottle Job, and so far it's looking like it's working. Getting a big bump draft. Oh, DJ Rice going a bit wide there. That gives MS2 Fast the opportunity to get past Ricey. So now MS2 Fast is up in 2nd position. And it remains to be seen whether or not he will have the pace to get closer to Lionesi or even overtaking him for the lead of this Grand Prix. Lionesi short shifting at about 50% of the ref limiter. Doing that so he can save a bit more fuel, and in some cars or tuning setups it is actually faster to shift up earlier. But for now, Lionesi puts in a 4 minutes 6.7. MS2 Fast 4 minutes 5.4, so more than a second quicker. DJ Rice 4 minutes 8, and for Sir Bottle Job at 4 minutes 7. So Rice being losing the most amount of time of the front runners and nearly gets overtaken by Sir Bottle Job. Now DJ Rice getting himself a half-second penalty for corner cutting. Won't hurt him that much, but it will be well, it will let him miss out of three bonus points at the end of the race. Snips going a bit wide at the entry of the back straight and getting himself a 1.5 second penalty for that one. He already got a penalty from an earlier corner cut, but John Mercer with a half a second penalty probably made a mistake at the end of the last lap, seeing that his lap time was a 4 minute 18, just marginally quicker than his first lap, which was with a standing start. So that's unfortunate for John Mercer, and hopefully he will be able to regain some of that lost ground, as Mr. Sean is now going for an overtake on the Robbers Dog, having more speed on the straight with the help of some slipstream. And Mr. Sean is now up into 5th place. DJ Rice now behind Sir Bottle Job, so having some good pace in the opening 2 laps, but now dropping away a bit, or maybe he has made a mistake. I'm not too sure. What I'm sure about is that Lioness is cruising at the moment. But he should maybe have a look in his mirrors to see that there's MS2 Frost. Ooh, he's getting close, I think. Going half a second purple on his own best time, which is the fastest lap of the race in this entirely so far. As RJ Cool and Snips are battling away. Snips getting a decent run out of that corner, and with the help of Slipstream he might be able to get past RJ Cool. Snips did lift off the throttle a bit, so maybe he didn't want to go for it this time around. Well, now at the end of lap number 3, we're almost halfway done with the race. Lionessy a 4 minutes 6.399, was MS2 Fast a 4 minutes 5.2, 1.2 seconds quicker that lap as well as the previous lap. So Lionessy, ooh, it's gonna be tight, it's gonna be close. Actually, I said halfway done with this race, but this one is a 1 hour race. I am stupid. We are almost a quarter there, not halfway. Silly mistake by me, sorry for that. As now they get onto the Mulsanne straight for the 4th time. Is this car quick? Yes, it is very quick. MS2 is going 1.5 seconds quicker, only in the first 2 sectors of the lap. How on earth did he manage to get so quick? That's just amazing. Doing a fantastic job of catching up to Lionessy. Really close to him now. Lionessy might be worried. Lionessy himself going 7/10 quicker, but I think MS2 might be going 1 second quicker than that. Top speed for these cars probably around 310, maybe, with slipstream and a long bit of straight. 1.7 seconds per pole for MS2 as he has now taken the lead of this 1 hour endurance race. Now coming up to Indianapolis, will Lionessy go for a return move? Or will Lionessy just stay behind and look what his rival will be doing? In terms of fuel, MS2 is quite low on his fuel in relatively to Lionessy. Lionessy having a little more than half of his fuel tank left. MS2 about 42% maybe. So about a 10% difference. Will that be too big of a difference? Support job little under half, and same for DJ Rice, still having some good pace and keep doing a good job of keeping up with the guys in front. Mr. Sean now also getting away from the Roberts dog behind. Oh, a bit of a brush from John Mercer. It isn't quite the end of the world if you do that, but you need to be very careful as the runs quite a bit wide. That will probably result in a penalty for him. Not that it would really matter though, as we can now see that the penalty has been given. Because he already got the penalty, so further penalties don't really do much. MS2 set a 4 minutes 3.1, Lionessy a 4 minutes 5.2. 2.1 seconds quicker that last lap from MS2 Fast. Will MS2 be able to keep up that pace for the entirety of the race, or will he crumble under the pressure from Lionessy behind? Maybe it's the other way around, that Lionessy might not make it, or he probably will make it, but more in regards to getting close to MS2 as MS2 gets a bit of a slide that will not help in getting away from Lionessy. So we'll jump now also with a penalty. DJ Rice also with a half-second penalty. And behind, a change of position for 7th place. Snips gets in front of RJ Cool. And as of now, the current order in this race is MS2 Fast for you in the lead of this Grand Prix. Then Lionessy behind him then we have a bit of a gap to 3rd and 4th position. Job in 3rd and DJ Rice in 4th place. Mr. Sean in 5th, cruising on his own at the moment. Rob's Dog in 6th, also just doing his thing. RG Cool now re-overtaken Snips for 7th position, so it's a bit back and forth between the two of them. And as you might have guessed, Snips is in 8th place now. RJ Cool goes off, or semi off, and that will give Snips back the position. In last place is MJ Mercer, but he has surely fought his way back a bit and is now fairly close to RJ Cool and Snips in front of him. We might see some pit stops coming in the next lap or two, as the drivers are now nearing the end of their first stint. Emma Stufas got a quarter of his fuel tank left. Lionesi more in the regions of 40%, so the gap has grown bigger. Nobody going into the pits except for DJ Rice, who goes in with 27% left of his fuel. Will somebody else follow him in for this, what I assume will be a 2-stop race? Mr. Sean also in with 22% left of his fuel, and Snips is also in with also 22%. DJ Rice comes out of the pits with 83% of his fuel, so yes, indeed he is going for that 2-stop race. Also having a change of tires, maybe not necessarily needed, but if you go for it, then you do have an advantage. As Mr. Sean now comes out of the pits with almost a full tank, so I'm not sure why he would do that, but it's his choice, so he can do what he wants. Same for Snips, also going for a fuel tank, so a full fuel tank, so maybe DJ Rice is just a bit odd. Who knows? Back at the front, Emma Stufas got himself a penalty. I think at this rate everybody's gonna get a penalty. Lionesi a 1-second penalty. Emma Stufas a half-second penalty. Job is now a bit more clear from behind. The next car behind him is the Rob's Dog. That's because DJ Rice went into the pits and is now in 7th place. RG Cool is now in 5th, and MJ Mercer very close behind in 6th. MJ Mercer going 8 tenths quicker on his personal best lap time so far. That would maybe see him dip into the 4-minute 10s if he can hold it together for this lap. Let's see. Now, 300 kilometers an hour from RJ Cool, and MJ Mercer is a bit lower on top speed, it seems. Maybe he's running in a different fuel map setting, but he might be a bit slower on the straights. But it will mean that he is quicker on the acceleration zones, and you can just see how much quicker he was on the exit of that last corner. Now fairly close to the back of RJ Cool, as we see that MS2 Fast has gone into the pits, as MJ Mercer goes for a move on the inside as they come onto the Porsche curves. MJ Mercer takes 5th place from RJ Cool, and that battling cost them 0.4 of a second at least. So not too much time loss there. But the main part is that MJ Mercer is now in front of RJ Cool, and now he might as well be in front of MS2 Fast. Of course, MS2 Fast is into the pits, whilst MJ Mercer and RJ Cool still need to go into the pits. RJ Cool getting a better run, but it will be MS2 Fast who actually comes out in front of them, but on colder tires, not so cold brakes though. And now it's very close between them. MS2 was also going for a full fuel tank, and that will see the Robsdog into the final podium position, as he's still setting personal best sectors. .8 seconds behind his personal best. I think Lionessy is doing a bit of fuel saving. Not sure if that is necessary at this moment in time, but if the driver thinks he must do it, then go ahead, do it. It will be at the end result. We will see at the end result of the race if it has actually worked. 1 second in the last sector alone, so he's definitely fiddling around with the fuel mixes. Probably going very lean mixes, also short shifting like crazy. So bolt job now below 10% of fuel. I think he will be able to make it back into the pits. So no worries for him. Robsdog looking good on his fuel. About a quarter left of his fuel tank. Then we see that RJ Cool actually has re-overtaken MJ Mercer to take 5th place, but there MJ Mercer again getting a way better exit than RJ Cool. But with the lack of top speed with MJ Mercer, he might not be able to send it around the outside or down the inside. Also, he's now below 10% of fuel, so doesn't matter what he does, he will go into the pits at the end of this lap. Going for a bit of an under and over into Indianapolis, but doesn't quite get there yet. Lionelli not opting to pit yet, probably staying out for another lap. Sir Bonjob will jump into the pits. Be careful of the chicane, and he did a bit of a bump there. 2% left of his fuel. Now the question is, will Robert's dog be going into the pits? I think that would be pretty handy for MS2 Fast. Then he won't have the need of battling with the Robert's dog. Is the Robert's dog going into the pits, or is he following his teammate for another lap? I think it is the latter. He will go on for another lap. Maybe that will give MS2 Fast a bit of slipstream on the Musan straight, but maybe it won't, because MS2 Fast is much quicker than the Robert's dog at this point. At least that's what I think. MS2 Fast does have a lot more fuel on board. As MJ Mercer is also into the pits. RJ Crew actually staying out for another lap. As DJ Rice behind, getting a bit squirmy. But you can just see last lap from DJ Rice was a 4 minute 8.2, from RJ Crew was 4 minute 12.1, so 4 seconds quicker in that last lap by DJ Rice, and DJ Rice has now gotten past RJ Crew. So Bonjob now has come out in 6th place out of the pits, way ahead of Mr. Sean, and MJ Mercer is in 8th place. And I just noticed that Snips has retired from this race, halfway done with this race. Was enough for him. That's unfortunate to see him leave. Anyway, Linus is still in front now, below 10% of fuel. He will also make it just like Sir Bonjob did. At least that's what I am hoping for. By the way, his last lap time was a 4 minute 12.7. 7.5 seconds slower than his personal best. 7.5 seconds, and if he is doing the same thing as he's doing now, he will be 15 seconds slower than his normal pace. And that's quite drastic. That will probably mean that MS2 Fast, who is now behind him, albeit not too close, rather far. That will mean that he will come out behind MS2 Fast, and probably way behind MS2 Fast. Now into the Porsche curves for the 8th time. Ooh, very close to the barriers, but not quite scraping them. Will he go into the pits? He must go into the pits. There's no other option for him at this moment in time. And there we see him peeling off to the right side of the racetrack through the chicane at the entry of the pits, and he has also gotten 2% left of his fuel. MS2 Fast now also sees that Linetti is in, probably what he expected as well. One thing to keep in mind though, folks, is that MS2 Fast does have another stop. He does need to come in for another pit stop in 15 minutes time. Still changing tires, only now he is refueling. The Robert's dog also coming in. And that will promote MS2 fast up into first. DJ Rice. Oh, DJ Rice has spun. DJ Rice has spun around and he has retired from this race. Let's see what happened. Just coming way too hot into the chicanes. Way too hot. That's really unfortunate to see. And then he gets stuck in the gravel trap. That is an unfortunate retirement for him. Linus now comes out of the pits. Quite a long way back, as I said. Turbo Job emerges in third place. Robert's dog only now as well, just changing his tires. It's a long pit road. And Mr. Sean is also now ahead of the Robert's dog. Mr. Sean also does need to make another pit stop. Arjiku is also in, so clearly the teammates communicated with each other what they were planning on doing. As now RJ emerges in 6th, ahead of MJR Mercer, who is now in 7th and last place. We have 2 retirements so far, Snips, and just a moment ago we had DJ Rice. Mastufas going purple in the 3rd sector, albeit narrowly, less than a tenth purple. But for Mastufas it will be another pit stop, as he did a little lockup with his front right tire. But certainly he will be pushing like hell now, just to get that gap big enough to make sure that he can cover off Linus when he will make his pit stop. Now 2/10 purple on his personal best lap. That would seem in the 4-minute 2s. So I don't think that the 4 minutes are possible, or dipping under the 4 minutes. Maybe with a little help of rocket fuel. Now 3/10, so a 10th each sector. And he didn't get any slipstream like he did on lap 4 when he set the fastest lap of the race so far. So now it's just pure pace. Braking at the exact right moment into the double chicane. Swing it in, swing it out, get on the power as early as possible, and then just straight line into the finish line. It will be a 4-minute 2.46 tenths quicker than his previous best lap time. That is a hell of a lap. Linus jumping over the curbs as he gets a blue flag. I am not sure why he would get a blue flag. Interesting. Probably the marshals just having a beer and forgotten what the flag rules are. Michelin now in 4th place, but also with a pit stop left to go. Robert's Dog in 5th. MJ Mercer ahead of RJ Cool. And it seems like RJ Cool is having some problems, some technical difficulties. That would explain why MJ Mercer got past. But it seems like the difficulties have now been resolved. Cutting the first chicane, not too big of a problem. We'll get them a 1 second penalty though, as he will start his first flying lap with a new stint. Lionessy doing nearly 300 kilometers an hour before he gets to the braking zone. Let's see what Sir Bottled speed is. Ooh, about 10 kilometers an hour slower than Lionessy. Interesting to see the difference in tuning setups. Do you want to get a lot more top speed, then you need to sacrifice a bit of your acceleration. So you need to find the perfect balance between them. And then you will be able to get some good pace. Speaking of good pace, MS too fast. 4/10 quicker than his last lap. That would send him into the 4 minutes once. That is almighty fast. Lionessy not getting the best first flying laps, half a second down on his previous best. Ooh, losing a bit of time at the start of the Porsche curves. Now only 2.5 tenths up, and not the greatest line through these corners as well. So it's just now the 2 final chicanes remaining. Or not. He is going into the pits. I wasn't expecting that. With 36% left of his fuel. But on the other hand, it seems to be the best option, seeing that there's only 1/3 remaining. And with a 2-stopper, then it would be the best if you would go and do your second pit stop at the 1/3 and 2/3 mark of the race. So both job now will be jumping up into 2nd place. As MS Tufas is now just refueling, as he will now come out of the pits. He will be a bit behind the pair of Lionessy and Sir Butterjob. Sir Butterjob going 2.5 cents quicker than his personal best. Everybody's now a bit spread out. MS2 fast, half a second penalty for him for corner cutting. Mr. Sean still going strong, but probably going into the pits at the end of this lap. Then we have the Roberts Dog in 5th place. And Joe Mercer is in 6th at the moment, with RJ Cool now the last of the pack in 7th place. There were some good battles we have seen so far. By the way, Sir Boulder Job 2.3 seconds slower than his personal best. Not having the best of laps, it seemed. Seems like MS2 Vos is closing in. Although it's not too strange to see that. Seeing that the MS2 Vos got the fastest lap of the race so far by quite a margin. By about 3 seconds. About. So in terms of racing, that's a big gap. And 3 seconds becomes a small gap when you're talking about endurance racing, and that somebody is only 3 seconds behind you after 6.5 hours. Ooh, bit of tail happiness from MS2 Fast, scraping the wall at Birch Curves. But still going strong. Let's see, Lionessy will do a 4 minutes 5.8. Then Serbo Job a 4 minute 9.0. And MS2 Fast will do his outlap in a 4 minute dead. That's something. Will he be able to do another fastest lap attempt? I guess not, since he cut the I have entirely forgotten what that first corner name is. Is the Dunlop curves? Yes, that's it. The Dunlop curves. That's the one I was looking for, also running a bit wide at the beginning of the Musan straight. And getting a half second penalty for that one as well. The Roberts Dog also having a a second penalty for some corner cutting. And Joe Mercer is in 5th place now, Archegou in 6th. And Mr. Sean will come out about the same level as RJ Cool. Oh, and there's a bit of a touch from RJ Cool onto Mr. Sean. Mr. Sean being the loser of that collision, flashing his lights to RJ Cool. Maybe the stewards will have a look into that incident. Mr. Shaw won't be happy with what happened there. That's for sure. But he might be able to get his revenge, or in a good way, not punt him off the track at the next braking zone. No, I mean re-overtaking him. Maybe on this straight. Now with fresher tires, and it doesn't really have a big of a difference. Saying that, aren't you cool? Doing very well on his tires then, because he pitted on lap number 8. Yes, lap number 8, I guess. So he's been doing this for 11 and some, 11 laps. 3 laps. I cannot speak. It's been almost an hour. And his tire was looking great, and he's still putting personal best sectors in, so that can't be too bad, right? I'm still fast now, closing in on Sir Border Job, but it is nearing the end of the Grand Prix. Only 3 more laps. Will we be having? And it's looking good for Lionessy. As he sets a 4:06.7. So what a job. Will be going almost a second slower, and MS2 fast a 4:04.2. So that's quick. That is really quick. 2.5 seconds quicker than Lionessy. And with fresher tires, does have a lot more fuel relative to the guys in front of him, but that won't matter too much. Now on the bumper cam, you can just see how close he gets to the different track limits as he goes 10th purple. Now almost into the slipstream of Sir Border Job. He might be even into the slipstream as Sir Border Job gets a half-second penalty for corner cutting. Sir Border Job moving over, and MS Stufas is definitely right into the slipstream. You can see him closing in. Is he going for the inside? I think he is. Just pulling out at the last second. Can he get his braking right? Maybe a bit too early, if I have to be honest. Seeing that Sir Border Job closed in right back to MS2 Fast. But now, will Sir Border Job be able to get past MS2 Fast again? I don't think so. The speed difference was big. Now it isn't. Now it's only a few kilometers an hour. So maybe at the Musan King he will be able to get past. To do that, he must get a good exit out of the second chicane. It's MS Stufas now also getting a half-second penalty, but not quite able to get close to MS2 Fast. I think that's then story over for Sir Border Job. I think he will remain in P3. Cool, last lap did a personal best lap, a 4:10.2. Whilst Mr. Sean is now going almost a half a second quicker than his personal best, which is a 4:08.8. So he might be able to get into the 4:07s. That would be a great achievement for him this race. Seeing that it hasn't been the best of races for him. Seeing that he is also in 7th place. And I will be very interested to see the lap times between Linus, the and MS2 Vos. By the way, you can just see how much time MS2 Vos gained on Sir Job after overtaking him on the straight. So Linus, the first of the chicanes done. Now the second one for the 13th time, and second to the last time. He does a 4 minute 6.6, and MS2 Vos will do a 4 minute 2.2, a new fastest lap of the race so far. 4 minutes 2.2, 4 minutes 6.6, 4.4 seconds slower. Linus, he was that last lap. That must be scaring him a little bit. Because yeah, that's 4.4 seconds slower on one lap without any mistakes, really. At least what I could see. Job going 2/3 of a second quicker than his previous best, or than his personal best, because he hasn't set that lap time yet. Probably is the first sector where on his personal best lap he just messed something up. Now he's going every time the first sector is green for him. Robert Stock in 4th place, bit cruising on his own, and Joe Mercer now getting into the reaches of RJ Cool behind him. Mr. Shaw not quite able to get into the mix there. As we might see a change for position in the closing stages of the race. Linus is already at the end of the straight, whilst the back markers are just getting onto it. I can select Mr. Sean, thank you very much. But there comes MS2 fast. It's almost like Jaws. You know it's coming, but you don't know when, and you're terribly frightened for that moment. Almost going 300 kilometers an hour, 310 kilometers an hour before hitting the brakes and going into Indianapolis. There you can see Linus 1 second quicker. MS2 Vos must have taken some drugs or something, because this is just astonishingly quick. How the hell is he so much quicker than everybody else in on the track right now? It's just really amazing to see that he's just so much quicker. Probably he likes this track very much, losing a bit of time in that last sector. Still 8/10 purple. You can see him wrestling the car. Ooh, a big slide out of the Porsche curves section. Keeping it in 4th, no need to change gears. Shifting down once more. for the second chicane. Now straight line it to the finish line. It will be a 4 minute 1.9, almost 4/10 quicker than his previous best lap time. That's just amazing. I think without the tire wear or fuel depletion, you will probably be able to get into the in the 3 minutes, possibly. As you there can see Lionessy 2/10 slower than his personal best, and MS2 fast almost a tenth quicker than he has already been. There in the background you can see him. This will be a very close battle for the lead of this Grand Prix, as we are now actually on the final lap of the race. As John Mercer is below 10% of fuel, he won't be able to finish the race in 5th place because he will run out. He just made a slight miscalculation, but that means that Mr. Sean will take 7th place, at least for now, because he might be compromised, or the stewards might decide something about that incident, as we are nearing the end of this race, because it is the final lap, and I think everybody is happy that it is the final lap. So Bojo below 10% of fuel already, so he definitely needs to do some fuel saving. Not that he really has a threat from behind. And now John Mercer has ran out of fuel. So that's a shame. By the way, Lionessy last lap a 4 minute 5.0, his new fastest lap of the race for himself personally. But there already is MS2 fast. MS2 fast can almost smell the fumes coming out of Lioness's car, and now it's just hammered down, trying to get as close as possible, maybe force Lionessy into a mistake. Lionessy now below 10% of fuel, but it doesn't really matter because he is very close to the finish line. Last time to the Porsche curse for the 15th time. That penalty from MS2 Fast could come back at him, because if he manages to overtake Lionessy, he needs to get rid of that penalty ASAP, because otherwise he will get demoted to P2 anyways. But I don't think that is even necessary. It will be Lionessy. He has already got his blinkers of happiness on. He knows he has won this 1 hour endurance race. It was a very strategic battle, and he will take victory after 1 hour, and the MS2 Fast will come home in second. Not a bad result at all for him. Sir Botterjob not having the most intense race, I think, but nonetheless a good race for him. He will take 3rd place. Now the Robust Dog coming up to the final chicanes, and also picking up a half-second penalty just for the sake of it. Just gonna lift up off to get rid of that penalty, and he will claim 4. Also a good result for him. Congratulations on that, the Rob's dog. Then RJ Cool coming up to the Porsche curves. Or yeah, actually he's not actually coming up, he is already past them. But he will finish 5th. As not as well. Why do I say as well? I'm talking a bit of gibberish at the latter stages of this race, but RJ Cool will claim 5th place. And yeah, here we see a mysterious MGR Mercer in the wild. Just cruising, changing gears without any thought behind it at all. Now, coming up to the Musan corner. Will he brake? No, he will not. And that will send him into the gravel trap. But that's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe. But before we go, I just got in a message from the stewards, and that incident between RJ Cool and Mr. Sean was deemed as a push to pass plus a fail to wait by RJ Cool. And because after a bit of debating, they will swap the finishing positions from the two of the drivers who were involved. So that will mean that Mr. Sean will get P5 and RJ Cool will get 7th place. But now let's quickly see the results or the championship standings as it is now for both tiers. Keep in mind the team results are now that Retro Racing are in 1st place with a grand total of 248 points, but closely followed by Goose Racing with 245 points. Then next up is Honey Badger Racing with 184 points, followed by Wrecking Ball Racing with 175 points. Pegasus Racing is in 5th place in the Constructors with 166 points, only 2 points ahead of Sandit Racing with 164 points. And then in the last place we have the Neon Knights with a low amount of points, a total of 17. That's unfortunate to see that they haven't really shown what they are capable of. Then the championship standings for the drivers. It's the Robert's Dog who is in 1st place, mainly due to that victory in the 1st round, the full clean sweep. He has 102 points to his name. Then we have MS Tufas in 2nd place with 96 points, only 6 points behind the Robert's Dog. So that would mean that there will probably be some championship or change of championship races upcoming. Lionessy is in 3rd place with 86 points. Subolo Job with 76 points in 4th place. DJ Rice 68 points. And Mr. Sean 63 points. That makes the top 6. RJ Cool down and now in 7th place with 60 points. O'Reilly in 8th with 48 points. And then we have MJ Mercer 39 points. That is a fantastic position to be, if I have to say so, for M. John Mercer. Flapjack is in 10th place with 31 points. Mickey with 17 points is in 11th place. That's all of the point scoring drivers. Then we have Cartman Reviser, who, because of obvious reasons, cannot participate. We hope he's doing all fine and that the war in Ukraine will be over soon. The Garrett is in 12th place. Same for Awesome Alex, JC and Kasker, who we haven't seen on track yet. But that was it for today's race. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. It was certainly a strategic battle, to say the least. And I will be hoping to see more of this action in the upcoming races. But until then, I will see you guys for some more Drivers Room Festival of Speed. Until next week, I will see you guys. Bye bye.